Welcome back to another Why You Should Read, and today I have a very exciting, action-packed, cool, unique shonen that I think a lot of you will enjoy. But of course, before we get into that, I actually just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been subscribing to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. We're slowly growing, and I'm hoping you guys are enjoying the content that we've been putting out. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can know when we drop more recommendation videos. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. The manga I have for you guys today is called Ichi the Witch. And if you haven't heard of it, man, let me tell you, it has been nothing but fun from the start to the current 24 chapters that's out right now. Ichi the Witch is written by Nishio Osamu and illustrated by Usazaki Shiro. Now, neither of them have work that I've read before, but I think that they have a real banger here with Ichi the Witch. There is action, fantasy, magic, with some comedy golden moments splashed in there. However, I think what really captured me about this manga was the unique story and plot. So, Ichi the Witch starts out with a boy named Ichi, who has basically been surviving on his own in the wilderness. He's an expert hunter who enjoys the thrill of a hunt, but also respects it. One day he stumbles across a creature which he eventually learns is called a magic, which is spelled M-A-J-I-K, and he wants to hunt it, of course. Now, also hunting this creature is a witch. Now, for me, this is where the cool, unique part comes into play. So, in this world, magic is alive, and again, they're called magics. They range from all type of creatures and beings, even some looking more human-like. Some are passive and go on about their lives in quiet, while others cause chaos and destruction. And as a result of this, witches were born. However, only women have an affinity for magic, and to become stronger or like an official witch, they have to hunt magics, complete their trials, and obtain the magic. Now that's why I say it's unique, because instead of just defeating these creatures, they actually have to complete trials set forth by the magic. So now, how does Ichi fit into this? Well, the magic he stumbles across is none other than the king of magic, Yoro, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who is battling one of the strongest witches, Descartes, who is probably my favorite character in the series so far, which I will get into why later. Like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter what you do to a magic, if you don't defeat its trial, it will just keep coming back. So in the battle, Descartes learns that Yuroro's trial is that he can only be defeated by piercing his heart. But to Descartes' surprise, even when she does that, it doesn't work. That's because Yuroro was clever to put in a clause that no woman can pierce his heart, which is how he survived all this time. Now, this is where Ichi comes in. As he is a male and a hunter, he is able to easily bypass Yoro's trial and pierce his heart, becoming the first male witch in existence. After retaining Yoro's magic, which is basically magic amplification, Ichi's journey in learning what it means to be a witch kicks off, and thus the story of Ichi the Witch is born. So like I said, the uniqueness and originality of this plot had me hooked from the start. The idea that witches have to hunt for their magic, I think, is really cool and something you don't see that often in magic-centered mangas, especially as of late. And it's not only that they have to hunt for their magic, but they also have to pass the trials of these creatures, which means that they can't just use strength and power, because sometimes these trials calls for logic and other attributes that doesn't just rely on using the magic you already have. Some of the trials, of course, are silly, but others are actually really unique and cool. Then once they pass the trial, they gain access to the magic power via a magic stone they receive once they defeat them. I also like the fact that women are the only ones with the affinity for magic, because it makes Ichi just that more special as a main character. Which brings me to another reason why I think this manga is worth the read. The characters are really cool and unique, and Ichi as a main character is very interesting. There's an aloofness about him when it comes to worldly things, which is expected because he spent most of his time in the wilderness. But on the other side of that coin is a seriousness and a respect when it comes to hunting. He understands the circle of life and knows when it gets serious, which I love to see in a main character. He doesn't like hunting for no reason. Like, he doesn't like killing for no reason. Honestly, he reminds me a lot of Luffy in terms of his personality from One Piece, which I think is really cool. Then you have Descartes, who is basically the Gojo of the series. Now, what I mean by this is that she's a very sort of like laid-back, nonchalant character with sort of an ego about her by going around claiming she is the most powerful witch to exist. But in the most recent chapters, we actually get to see her begin to back up these claims in the most recent battle. We find out that she's indeed the most powerful witch because she has claimed the most magics out of any witch in the series so far. She is a hilarious and interesting character that I'm excited to see throughout the series. There are other characters that come into play, and so far I'm enjoying all of them, especially one of the characters that they just introduced in the most recent like 2 or 3 chapters. The art is also done really well, and I love the character designs. The styling for the characters are all unique and interesting, as well as the world design. Like I mentioned earlier, it's in a fantasy setting which is drawn really well. The fights and action are drawn fantastic with explosive fight scenes and really cool magic abilities. Like I've been really enjoying the magic abilities that these witches get from claiming magics. In the most recent chapter, we start to see more of the plot unfold, and I don't want to give spoilers, but it is getting really interesting. There's been prophecies that's been told, and you learn more about what it means to have the first male witch, which I think is really cool. I am super excited to see where the author of this manga takes it. The one word I've been using to describe a lot of things about this manga is unique, and that's because it's been like a breath of fresh air reading this. Of course, there are plenty of magic fantasy mangas out there, and maybe even some similar to this, but I do think it offers its own originality, and if it keeps going the way that it is, I think it has the potential to be around for a while. I can definitely see this getting an anime adaptation if the manga gains enough traction, and so I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video and that this video was enough to pique your interest into this manga. And if you are reading it, I do want to know your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm excited to see what people think about this. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and that is all I have for you guys today. So until next time, enjoy.